Hey, good morning. It's Fred Staub and Les Jackson. Les, a lot going on in the auto industry, and we are here to tell you all about it on Cruise Control. Isn't that right?
That is correct as usual. There is just, especially in the fall, when everybody's introducing the 2025s, it's just day to day. Something comes up, something comes out,
Yeah. Well,
and, we cover it.
that's true. A lot of new reveals, a lot of pricing on vehicles, and one of the things we're going to run down is one of my favorite times of year. No, it is not. Is not Halloween, but it is SEMA, and a lot of interesting things going on at the booth for Mopar. Right?
Absolutely. SEMA is, sadly, it's not open to the public. It's just a wonderful show to see what the aftermarket does and what builders can do with vehicles. It's just it's beyond description. It's just really a spectacular show. It's impossible to see every booth because there are like 1,500 booths.
I tried to do
Oh,
that,
yeah,
and then I
you
got
just
upset
can't.
that I couldn't see it, everything. But yeah, it's I call it a what if show, right? Like what if
Right,
a
right.
GTX had electric power? Now, may say that's heresy to do that, but that's what Mopar built. They built a GTX with electric power, so that's one
Yeah.
example. And,
And it's, going way, way, way back. Bill Harrah, when he was alive, Harrah Hotel, he built a Jeep with a Ferrari engine
that's
that
yes.
he used to as a taxi to bring entertainers to
Yeah,
his lounge.
yeah. Just ridiculous.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. What if? The other thing is we're going to tell you about a couple of crate engines that Mopar has put out. One's for drag racing. You see those great headers there, and then the other is another Hell crate engine with 1,000
Boy.
horsepower. What would you put these engines in, Les?
Well, I would put it in something pretty big, just because it is so much power.
I put it in
You
a
know what?
Duster.
A 64 Galaxy.
You put a Mopar engine in a Ford?
Well, why not?
I was going to say a Duster or a original Demon, which is a Duster
Well,
with
but
a
I want
different
say I
brand.
want something really cool from the 60s to put it something with a great interior, and I never cared for Mopar interiors back then. They were always a bit sparse.
Yeah, they were Spartan for sure, for
Yeah.
sure. So, well, anyway, we're going to tell you about that. Mercedes has the new AMG E53 hybrid. We'll tell you a little bit about that, what's new with that, and we
Hmm.
have pricing information on it. And then, it's not SEMA, but we do have some information on Hyundai's new fuel cell vehicle. Uh, I think we're going to see a lot more fuel cell vehicles,
We
and
are.
this is the latest from Hyundai. I have to
Yeah,
say,
we're going to see a lot of this, and what we're not going to see a lot of is more lightnings from Ford because they shut down production for a while.
yeah,
They're not selling.
they're not selling and they're not making money on them, which is a
No,
big
no, no,
problem.
no.
So they're still losing like $24,000 on each one. So,
I I don't know what they're doing with the employees. I'm sure they put them on other production lines, but
well, some I do.
uh,
I actually know some were offered early retirement, and then others were offered
okay,
if you don't want to retire, you can go build Ford Rangers, which seems like an
fair
okay
enough.
alternative to that. Yeah. So we're going to talk about those things, and then this is interesting. You know the system where emergency vehicles can turn something on, so
Oh yeah,
you get alerted that there's a truck up
right.
ahead, or Volkswagen is going to put that into its vehicles, so you can hit a button on your dash. Let's say you're stuck on the side of the road, and you can turn this on, and it will alert other vehicles on their navigation system that, hey, there's a disabled car ahead. I think that's great.
That is terrific.
It's even better than your emergency flashers. It gives you a long range
Yeah,
warning. So we'll talk about that.
you'll see it on your nav system.
You'll see it on your nav system. Yeah. And then in the second hour, Les, we're going to delve into the Scout story a little bit more. We're going to have the marketing manager on from Scout to talk a little bit about, how did this idea come about? Who's their customer? And where do they see the brand going? Remember, these won't be released to 2027. So while the Ford Lightning is not selling now, in 2027, it might be a different deal. And I'm imagining that's what Scout's playing on. But nice looking vehicle. The pickup truck has a option called the Harvester that will extend the range of the vehicle. So that's pretty interesting.
Clever.
Yeah. But that's all
Always
coming
fun.
up on
Yeah.
Cruise Control. We're going to be going to the live show
Very
in
soon.
just a little bit.
This is Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine with co-hosts Fred Staub and Les Jackson. Everything you need to know about new and used cars. Industry news. We'll fix or repair your car on the air. Fasten your seatbelts and let us take the wheel. Now, your ride is about to begin because you're on Cruise Control. Cruise Control. Cruise Control.
And
welcome
hello
to
and
Cruise
good
Control.
morning, everyone. This is Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine, and of course, I have the wheel at the moment, but standing next to me is Fred Staub. I'm Les Jackson, of course. You know us. You've been watching us for years, listening to us for years, and as you also know, we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we sure do, Les. It's a packed hour, and we're going to talk about Mopar and SEMA. A lot going on at their booth. As you know, SEMA time means what if, what could we build? So they built some pretty cool trucks, and not only that, they've kind of reimagined a GTX with electric power. Now, some people may be upset about that, but hey, let's keep an open mind, right?
Absolutely. These are really cool things. And speaking of cool things, Hyundai reveals its next hydrogen fuel cell vehicle. They've made actually a fuel cell pickup a few years ago, and really nice, very compact unit. The fuel cell itself is, a wonderful generator of electricity, but we won't get into the physics of it.
No, but cool looking vehicle, small crossover, and
Yep.
we're going to see a lot more of these. Will we see the fueling stations? Is the big question, because obviously it's not useful if you can't fuel it up. And then
No, it's tricky.
and then we're also going to talk about the AMG hybrid from Mercedes, the AMG E53 hybrid. Nice machine, not inexpensive though.
No, I don't think anything that says AMG is ever inexpensive.
Yeah, you're not like, well, this is the value model. I don't think so.
That's right. And we were just mentioned it a few minutes ago, the Lightning is not, well, it's not striking for Ford.
No.
So they've shut down production
Yeah.
for the time being, and that's never good.
No, never good. But what is good is we will be right back and ready to start on Cruise Control. So stay tuned. I'm Fred Staub. He is Les Jackson. You're on Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. We'll be right back.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Fred Staub and Les Jackson. We are glad we are together with you. And let's talk a little bit about SEMA, Les Jackson. A lot going on at the Mopar booth. And they started off with something that could be controversial to some people. It is the Plymouth GTX Electro Mod. So this started life as a GTX. They've pulled out the engine. They've put in an electric drivetrain. And just like GM, there is some talk that this electric drivetrain will be offered as a crate motor. We can really say crate motor because it will be a crate motor. And the output is 335 horsepower. Torque runs through the rear wheels with a 3-to-1 gear reducer. Driving range is about 250 miles. Not too bad.
You know, I think I realize that the purists want, an original Mopar engine with lots of chrome accents and all that. But I believe that the future of really great looking collector cars is going to be electric drivetrains, because you'll be able to drive them anywhere. You won't have any emission issues. You never drive these things any kind of distance. You're going to car shows or to cruises or, a Sunday afternoon drive. And they're going to be incredibly fast.
That's true.
Far faster than the originals were.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
You look at the once again, we were talking a little bit about the level of work on these vehicles, and it is incredible. This was a 67 GTX, so it probably had something like a 383 in it originally. Now it has this battery pack. They've done a lot to this. They've trimmed up the bumpers. They've done, of course, new suspension and everything else. But even when you look in the trunk where the battery pack is, they've done this custom aluminum frame for the battery, which, they don't have to do that. They could just put a piece of strap steel in there, but this is what they do, isn't it?
That's right. But then they would be Tesla.
No, that would be a Home Depot with some zip ties.
Exactly.
Yeah, but you look at the battery, and it's just beautiful. Just the cage that they put it in.
It's art. It's art of engineering.
Yeah. Now, if you like something a little bit different, how about an RHO concept? Of course, the RHO is their high-performance RAM, but this one gets the treatment with the 37-inch tires and a lot of Mopar accessories. Remember, Mopar is kind of an aftermarket accessory name, basically. That's what the brand is. But it is, they call this the Moparized Ram 1500 RHO. High-impact exterior graphic themes. The latest edition of the sport truck features bold Mopar blue body side graphics, 37-inch tires, and they've done things like a fully integrated Mopar bed spare tire carrier, Ram bar accessory, LED lights, stamped side steps. Truck bed surface is protected by the black Mopar spray in texture.
Right.
Bed liner. So this one kind of highlights what you can do to your RHO if you have it with Mopar parts. Less of a
That's true.
all-out custom.
Yeah, exactly. And you can throw a 3-liter Hurricane HO SST engine in there. It'll fit.
Yeah.
540 horsepower.
And then if you want something completely different than that, there's the Ram 2500 Power Wagon concept. Once again, this has been Moparized with a bold satin stealth sand exterior and deep black 3D topographical map pattern. This one runs the small tires, 35-inch Goodyear tires.
Wow.
An aluminum platform securely holds extra gear. Kind of a roof. It almost looks like a ladder rack, but it would be for active lifestyle people like you. I like the slide-out bed slider. I think that's a
This
good idea
slide
for
out bed is
anyone.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So both of those are kind of different steps for your Ram. And then, of course, we have the electric GTX, which is completely different. But we hope you've enjoyed that quick tour of the Mopar booth. There's a lot more at SEMA. Hey, maybe you're there now. Who knows? We don't know. But we will be right back on Cruise Control. Fred Staub and Les Jackson, you're on Cruise Control. Yeah, I just like how, some of those vehicles like that Moparized Ram, these are things people can do. They can go and order these
Yeah.
things, and as a dealer would like to say, you can put it
You
into
can
the
buy the stuff.
payments.
Yeah, some of these, not necessarily the accessorized RAM, but others that are so many are built for SEMA, either by factories or more often by shops that build spectacular stuff.
Yeah.
What do you suppose the average cost of building these things is?
Well, I know they get the cars for $1. They call them dollar cars. So they're giving you a pre-production
Okay.
vehicle that, or maybe even a production vehicle, and they use it. It's a marketing thing. So I think, are they paid to do this by the car companies?
Oh, I know.
And some, like the Ring brothers, are not paid. They'll typically have a client, or Chip Foose has a client that says,
Right.
"Here's $500,000. Build what
Yeah.
you want."
I mean, I would think 3 to 5 would be sort of the $300,000 to $500,000 would be sort of the entry level.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
to
it
to
could
build up
go
on these.
over up to $1
It's
million.
not
Yeah,
cheap.
yeah, and it's all custom and it's all time intensive, right?
Extremely. These things usually take a year or two to do.
Yeah. Well, we
Um,
had Chip on the show, and he said, basically, if you're doing a car with me, even if it's not a crazy car, you leave it with me. You do incremental payments, and
yep.
it kind of gets done when it gets done. You
Yes, and
can't
and
say
even though
I
yeah,
have to use
even
it
though
next
you
week for a cruise.
exactly, even though you see shows that build a car in a week or two, that's silly.
Well, I remember
Uh,
when he was on, I said that's like trying like I did as a kid. Oh, I'm assembling this model and I'll try to put the body on
right.
the chassis while it's wet and I get a thumbprint on the hood.
Exactly. Yeah.
I wouldn't want you assembling fresh paint.
It takes a long time to properly restore or
Yeah.
modify a vehicle.
Yeah. How about some of these crate engines that we're talking about? These Hemis, supercharged Hemis. Some of the superchargers, less on these things are 3.2 liter.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
that's
like having
that's
a
bigger than the
V6.
engine. It's bigger than my car's engine.
It's like having a V6 on top of your
It is.
Hemi. But hey,
It
we're going to come
is.
back. Here we go.
Cruise Control.
Hey, welcome back to Cruise Control. Fred and I are kicking right through what's going on in the auto industry, and right now Hyundai. And by the way, I love this because of physics, but they've just
Hey, man, it's
revealed
physics.
well, hey, what can I say? A new, what they call bold and efficient hydrogen fuel cell concept. Obviously, it's an EV because the fuel cell is the generating device that creates electricity
Yep.
through a very well known and very reliable way of producing electricity. You just need hydrogen.
Yeah.
But that being said, they've got it's a new design language, very interesting looking. Fred, you know me and wheels. These wheels don't do much for me, but I understand why they did it the way they did it because the rest of the bodies are very sculptured.
Well, to me, there's a lot of EV EV9 and EV3 from Kia in the
Yes,
design
yes.
language. I like this slatted side sheet metal. I always like that with a really, really prominent style line, like they've done the slats in there. I think that's great. It's interesting that this has like an off-road look with extra lights up on the roof rack and things like that. I never really thought of this. Sometimes when I see electric vehicles or even fuel cell vehicles with that, it makes me wonder, would someone take that off road? But I guess you could. Um, it has a targeted driving range of over 650 kilometers with a maximum motor out of 150 kilowatts. They call it the Intium, and it should
Right.
be coming the first half of 2025. Any idea if this is coming to the U.S. and
Well, it would certainly, at least in California and maybe some other states, because there is a growing hydrogen fuel cell fuel station infrastructure. I'm actually looking into the legality of just getting your own hydrogen. I mean, you can get, a gas supply company can get you helium and CO2 and anything you want. Hydrogen also in the big ASTM, cylinders. You see thousands of them.
you mean like
Why can't?
it's like people use it for some kind of manufacturing,
Oh yeah,
right?
right. And why couldn't you
Make some
have
hoses up.
equip one to your house?
Interesting. And just have the truck deliver some tanks.
That's right.
I'm thinking that might be an HOA violation. And maybe I
Well,
might be on the think like, yes, I agree with that one. What do you think?
yeah.
But that's the thing. Any prediction you want to make on when we'll see hydrogen expand a little bit more? We've both driven fuel cell vehicles. They're
Oh,
great,
you would never know
and
that
and
it's not a regular car.
and the extended range electrics. We did a story last week about Nissan looking into extended range electrics, and even a little bit later on in the show, we're going to talk about Scout having an extended range electric where the engine, whatever it may be, it's burning gas or diesel or something, charges the battery, and that gives you the
Right.
extended range. So kind of the fuel cell is sort of like that because it's creating its electricity from hydrogen. So
Yeah. So,
when do you think they will make more hydrogen stations?
well,
That
the, I have a partial, two parts to the answer. First part is it's going to come, and it's going to come when an inexpensive way of generating hydrogen gets perfected. They're working on a bunch. Right now, the only real industrial way is hydrolysis, which is just put some voltage into water and you get hydrogen and oxygen coming out. But that's expensive. The better way are some of the more tricky systems, catalyzing various things. But they're working on that. Once they do that, um, then they would be able to more cheaply and efficiently put up hydrogen fueling stations, either as part of a gas station or on their own. And the beauty of a fuel station is that you can just shoot liquid hydrogen
right?
into your ASTM tank in your car
Yeah,
in the same time as putting gas in it, probably a little faster.
I remember refilling a car with hydrogen in I was at an event in China, and yeah, it was no big deal.
Yeah, just clip. It's a special hose that locks, and you just turn it on. It fills it up, and it's done.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
you off you go.
Yeah, yeah. It's a very interesting idea. You alluded to making. We were talking about muscle cars, electrifying them. I think also you could just run them on
Absolutely.
hydrogen,
Yeah.
change the engine over to hydrogen, and that would be a quick solution, right?
You could use a conventional engine with just running hydrogen as the fuel.
And no
Very
more
clean.
deposits, carbon deposits.
And no more oil changes. It's-
Yeah,
uh,
you clean the
yeah, I
inside
mean,
of your
it's
engine.
there are just so many possible ways of doing these things that are now or are soon becoming cost effective enough that it can be competitive.
Well, as I
And that's
say,
what it's all about.
figure a way for a company to make good money on it. They'll do it, and that will make it
Exactly.
happen. Yeah, that will
No
make it happen.
question.
You're listening to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine with Fred Staub and Les Jackson. We are glad you're along for the ride. Always appreciate your comments and your likes and follows, all that stuff. We appreciate that. And Les, coming up, we're going to talk about the AMG 53 hybrid. Nice machine from Mercedes, not inexpensive. We'll get into the
Nope.
pricing on that. That is pretty pricey. And then what is going on with the Ford Lightning? People love it, but not enough people are buying it, right?
Well, that's right. I mean, if I had to have a pickup truck uh, and I had sufficient money, I'd buy a Lightning
Right.
because it gives me everything I want, but I don't. And
Okay.
neither do other people.
Yes. We're also going to talk about the warning system from Volkswagen, the alert package. If you've ever seen like fire trucks and things like this, they will turn on a signal that warns people that, hey, there is danger up ahead, and you get a message on your navigation system. Well, VW is going to do this for cars. We'll tell you what their plan is to roll this out. It's almost like long distance hazard warning lights, if you think about
Yeah.
it. Um,
Well,
it.
it's great. It's a great concept.
And, when someone does this, I think, wow, everybody should do this. It can't be that expensive
Everybody
to
will.
do. And it might eventually be required, right?
It will eventually be required. If not here first, it'll certainly be required in Europe.
Now, here's one of my trivia questions for you. I'm putting you on the spot. Started out with someone having a backup camera, and then eventually everyone had to have a backup camera. Do you remember
Right.
who put the backup camera on first?
I believe it was Nissan. But
All right. I think you might be right about that. I think that might be right. Well,
yeah,
when we come back, we'll have all those stories and more. So stay tuned to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. We will be right back. One story I forgot to mention, Les, we're going to talk about J.D. Power, the winner of J.D. Power's Infotainment Award. Infotainment has been a big differentiator in brands.
and and a big problem area for some brands because people are either accepting what you got or they're not.
Yeah, or it's just too hard to use, or they can't get their phone
Yes,
to connect. And so we're going to tell you who the winner is. I would say it's probably not someone you would think of, but we will talk about that. Other news, not the best of news. The Radford brand that Ansted was involved with. That has gone bankrupt, but we're going to tell you more about that in a little bit.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control. Fred Staub and Les Jackson, we are glad you are along for the ride. Let's talk a little bit about the Mercedes, the Mercedes 53 hybrid, AMG 53 hybrid. Quite the machine, and we have some pricing information on it, which is not
Right.
cheap.
Well, no. I mean, AMG is as you've said before, the performance division of Mercedes. Think about, Ford's SRO and Chevy's. Well, it used to be Super Sport. Now it's whatever it is. Um,
Yeah.
that's it. That's where you go to really crank up the performance of your already expensive Mercedes.
hmm
So that ends up being a bit more expensive, but it's under warranty.
Yeah.
Why not?
Well, this is the element of Mercedes where they sign the engine, they're hand built. Now, I wondered if this is the case here, but let's talk a little bit about this. It's got a 3-liter inline 6-cylinder turbocharged engine.
Hmm.
I love this, with a permanently excited synchronous electric motor. Permanently excited.
Permanently excited.
Sounds like some people I know. Oh,
Yeah. Well, I always think about it like a puppy.
yeah,
Is
permanently
permanently
excited.
excited.
Yeah, yeah. But this package here has, let's see, 577 horsepower, 604 horsepower with the optional race start. Got to go for the optional race start.
Well, I mean, why wouldn't you? It's
The
uh,
hybrid
officer friendly would love to observe that.
doing a race start, yes.
Yeah,
42 mile of all electric range, which
pretty
is
good.
pretty good, yeah. Um, AMG Dynamic Plus package allows the customers to elevate the performance of their sedan, including high performance composite braking system with larger 15.4-inch brake discs and red 6-piston calipers, 12 paint finishers, 20 or 21-inch AMG wheel designs, and 3 optional exterior design packages, including the night package and exterior carbon fiber package. I would probably go for the exterior carbon fiber package. What do you think?
I mean, they do really pack a lot of technology into these AMGs. I'll give them credit.
Well, but you're going to pay for it. It's going to
Yes, you
cost
are.
you. It's going to cost you.
Yeah.
So it starts out with standard features, which is not the race start, I'm sure. $88,000. AMG Performance 4MATIC, ride control, real performance sound, illuminated radiator grille, 14.4-inch center multimedia display, and wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Then the exclusive trim goes for $90,450. Includes additional things that are included are digital lights, which is a digital lighting package for the headlights, the Burmester 4D surround system with sound personalization, active ambient lighting with sound visualization, and heat and noise insulating glass, which is nice to have.
Well, I like that.
I like that. But keep going, Les, because the Pinnacle trim goes for $92,150. All the standard features plus digital light with projections, head-up display, MBUX interior assistant, and 4-zone climate control.
Right.
Uh,
Well, I am a heads-up display aficionado, as you know.
yes, I've become even more so with digital dashes. I've found
Yep,
many manufacturers are putting the speedometer way over to the left, and it
that's right.
really gets, whether it's where my head is located or whatever, I cannot adjust the steering wheel to see the speedometer, so I have to use the head-up display.
Yeah. Well, I just, I'm I'm very familiar with them, and they're just wonderful. It tells you everything you need to know
Yep.
without having to change your eyes from looking out the window, which is where they're supposed to go. I happen to have talked at a sort of a holiday party last year with the owner of the largest Mercedes dealership on the East Coast, which is here. I asked him, how many people buy the base AMG models, and he
Right.
said absolutely no one.
Yeah.
It was just nobody does.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Well, look at some of the numbers on this 577 horsepower, 604 with the optional race start.
Hmm.
How many guys tootling to the golf course will probably buy the race start then? Probably a lot,
The,
right?
the important thing is the bragging rights, so
Yes.
that you can tell people you can do that.
Um,
Unless you happen to be an attorney who specializes in speeding tickets.
yes, and someone says, "Well, do you have the race start package?" um,
Yeah, oh, yeah, that's right.
but the top speed too is pretty impressive. 155 is the normal top speed, but 174
Hmm.
with the AMG Dynamic Plus package, which probably includes velocity rated tires as well. Um, Hats off to AMG. I mean, this is a performance hybrid uh, that gets, you look at the gas plus electric fuel economy 54, 65, and 59
It's just great.
mpge
It's just great.
plus 42 miles of range, all electric. Eventually, I think there may be areas where everyone has to go all electric, whether you got gas or
Yeah,
not. I still
and
think that.
and in practical terms, if I had one here, just on electric, 42 miles, I can go to Baltimore from Washington,
And that's pretty good.
which
And
is
that,
42 miles away.
and then
That's
kick in the
terrific.
race start to come home.
Oh, absolutely.
So, is this the future of performance cars? I kind of think
I
yes.
I think so. I think hybrids are an answer to a lot of problems.
Yeah, yeah, and while they're not even marketing this as a plug-in hybrid, it is. If you have 42 miles of electric range, so that is the Mercedes AMG E53 hybrid. Nice vehicle. I cannot lie. I don't particularly like their interior style with all the screens
Uh,
and things like that.
no,
I find that a little off the brand, but that's just me. I'd rather see a nice leather interior,
yeah,
But that's
but
just me.
that's Mercedes.
Yeah. What do
They've
what do
always
you
been
think?
different.
Let us know in the comments. Is something like this Mercedes AMG E53 hybrid the performance car of the future? It's got that all electric range, but still has the power to do race start and thing like that. I kind of think this would have been cool for Dodge to do something like this with their Hemi power. I still say they should have had a
Yeah.
D-stroked Hemi with the electric boost hybrid. I think that would have been a better way to go. But that's just me. Let us know that in the comments too, if I'm crazy or not. But let's talk a little bit about the Ford Lightning, Les. You and I have driven this. We think it's pretty neat. It's sold relatively well, but lately it's kind of gotten to the point where everyone that wants one has bought one, I guess.
Yeah.
And there are too many of them out there, too high a day supply right now. So Ford is shutting down its plant from its Lightning plant from November 16th until January 6th. This was reported by
That's
Automotive News, and that includes the
2 months.
Rouge production facility. And, it's an 86 year-over-year gain for the first 9 months of 2024 for the Lightning with 22,807 units sold. But still, they need to sell more, and they need to make money on selling them, don't they?
Yeah, you have to eventually make money.
It's kind of that thing
And
of business,
it,
It's
yeah,
um,
and right now they're not making money, and Ford is practical enough to say, okay, look, we're going to stop producing them for a bit, uh, work things out, come back,
yeah.
and figure out how the market's going, how we can best sell more to make money.
Well, we will
They're
have
the bet.
more on the Ford F-150 Lightning when we come back on Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine.
Talk about Tesla taking it over.
Well, yeah, I don't. Let's talk electric pickups here because we're going to have a guest on from Scout next hour, and
Yeah,
a lot of people are saying like, "Wow, they launched that." Rivian's having trouble, mainly getting supply parts, and Ford, of course, is having this issue with the electric Lightning. But there's still great growth in the electric pickup truck market. I think once again, Chevy went too high with their price. Maybe they put too much into their electric pickup.
yeah.
Where Ford has made more of it's closer to a traditional gas-powered pickup, isn't it?
Well, yes.
And then there's the Cybertruck.
And you got the Cybertruck, which I've heard it described as criminally hideous.
Hideous is a good
Which
word.
hideous? Well, and that's hideous in many ways. Hideous looking.
Yeah.
It hideous working. I've seen a lot of them cropping up around here. One of which somebody has gotten the scroll off an old refrigerator, and on the back panel he stuck it, and it says Frigidaire. Uh, and and
That's
yeah, it's a
funny.
sense of humor. I mean,
Yeah.
I like that.
Apparently, there was just an update for the Cybertruck that was pushed out over the air update, and it bricked a lot of the trucks. So they had to be towed somewhere to a dealer to
Yeah.
unbrick
Well,
them.
it really is a. It's yeah. It's
Well, back to what we
it's
started earlier.
some.
Radford. Radford was a brand, an upscale brand for the UK, and Ant Ansted was partners with a number of people with a partnership with Lotus actually to build these cars, and now they're going bankrupt. There are suits filed by a lot of their customers that paid $1 million, but they
Wow.
didn't get cars. So this is a problem. Multiple lawsuits. This is from People Magazine, of all people, reported that there are multiple lawsuits filed against the company and against Ansted directly. Two of those come from Ansted business partner Pastor Velasco, with another one filed against CFO Daniel Bednarski. Wow. So this did not end well, did it?
Well, it has not ended well, and there are customers not getting deliveries and not even getting refunds,
Yeah, you
not even
can't.
getting returns on their phone calls.
That's
Uh,
uh,
this is
that's not a
bad.
good thing. That's not a good thing. And Ant is an amazing mechanic and great personality on TV and
He's
Wheeler
very, very good.
Dealers. He was on. He should have his own show. I mean, he can do it.
He
But
should. There's a builder's show.
yeah, remember he built
And
one car out of wood, I believe. But hey, we're coming back.
yep.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back. Welcome back. Well, Fred, we were talking about the lightning issue that'll
You
get
wanted to,
worked out.
yeah, you wanted to make
Oh
one more
well,
point, I think, didn't you?
yeah. I just wanted to make the point that they've lost their status as the best-selling electric truck in America, taken by Tesla's Cybertruck. But they don't care. Ford doesn't care, and nobody else in the industry cares either. They don't consider the Cybertruck a long-term threat.
Yeah, I
I don't believe
believe
it is.
Jim Farley said that. He said it's not really a threat to anybody.
Yeah, it's a it's just a little token
Somebody, 40
ornament.
years from now, somebody on Wikipedia will be researching, said, Cybertruck, what is that?
Yeah.
Did they actually build that?
It's no. There will be another Back to the Future movie, and it'll be a Cybertruck instead of a DeLorean.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about Volkswagen. It's talking tech. I think this is a great thing. There's a system where you get alerted. I think it's called HELP. I don't know what the acronym stands for, but it is a system that tells other drivers and other vehicles on their navigation system that you are disabled and you're on the side of the road. Not you, your car is disabled. And you're approaching
Right.
here's what it's called, HELP. Hazard Enhanced Location Protocol, right? And fire trucks have this, and ambulances have this. And
Right.
they put the signal out. I'm not quite sure how it gets to where it's going. Is it just a signal that goes directly to your car, just an RF signal? But this is a great thing, and it is something that we're going to see with the V2X ecosystem, that this comes basically to every car. But it is cars talking to cars, and this warning will come up on your screen. And maybe there'll be a warning saying, warning, disabled car ahead, And it's great. I call it the long-distance hazard lights, flasher lights,
Yeah. This is it's a great safety thing, and if you can offer it, then offer it.
Yeah.
It's already showing up on nav systems here around DC because we have all kinds of
Accidents.
electronic stuff going on around
Yeah.
here.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So I get it on mine that where it shows a little yellow diamond with a exclamation point in it.
Yeah. And I guess currently
And
that comes from what, police cars or ambulances?
yeah, and I think it goes into the cell system, but also, and then that feeds the nav systems,
Yeah.
like the traffic slowdowns is
Yeah.
fed in.
I think it's a great idea.
It's wonderful.
I think we will probably see it on all vehicles at some point in the future. I'm sure it's
Well,
probably.
you have to. Vehicle to vehicle communication is the next level of autonomy.
And you notice when we're talking autonomy so much, and we don't talk about it as much, but
No.
it once again, everything is not like cut and dried. That vehicle to vehicle conversation will happen because that will be the next step of controlling things like pedestrian safety and intersection safety, anti-collision. It will give more warning. It won't be a sensor on the car. It will be getting a signal like, hey, this person has not applied their brakes and they are going through the intersection. So it will cut accidents further. It's basically cars and other vehicles talking to each other. Could even be pedestrians. You have a chip in your coat and it talks to this.
Yeah. This
or
is
your
and
phone.
that's V2. Yeah, that's V2X, by the way. That's what it's called. V to V and also V to X, which is vehicle to everything, all of its surroundings. These will happen. It's taking its time. There seem to be other priorities these days, like wars and economies and stuff. But it will happen.
Yeah.
and it's all about keeping people from getting killed.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
that
and
simple.
you know, as I say, that will sort of be the longer range rather than what we currently have now, which is sensors or radar or something like that, which you use in the parking lot where you're backing out. One of the most useful things, cross traffic alert. I can't tell you
Yeah.
how useful it is. You have a new vehicle. I mean, you must love that, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Uh,
Absolutely. And I love the fact that New York City has had the nerve to legalize jaywalking.
I hadn't heard
Um,
that, and I live near New
oh
York
yeah,
City.
they legalized it this week, which sounds absurd, but anybody who knows New York City knows that in a typical light to light, all the traffic is stopped, and people just tend to walk across, dodging vehicles and so on. It's not going to have the impact that it would have maybe in a small town or whatever.
It's an experience driving in New York City. I have to tell you, it is like a
It's yeah,
three-dimensional game where here comes somebody running out from, the side, not looking. They come out between two cars.
exactly.
You can't see them. They just come out and they're looking at their phone, and or somebody
Well,
on a bike
now,
or somebody on a
oh, with a
pedicab.
bike, yeah.
Yeah.
And you and I have jaywalked in New York City, let's
No,
say a number of times,
not
but
me.
we're not we're not looking at phones.
No,
We
no.
never looked at, we pay
Wow.
attention.
The saddest thing I saw was like I'm walking and I see this person walking across, looking at the phone. I look up and
Oh,
there's a bike there. Before I could say anything, the bike runs right
ram.
into the person with the phone. She doesn't say, "Hey, watch out," or even she's on the ground now, and she starts yelling out, my phone, where's my phone?" And I was
Oh
like,
boy.
maybe you should look at like your leg, your abdomen,
Yeah. Your,
and the
yeah,
guy
your
just took
eyes.
off. And I was like, what do you do with this? He just took off, left her laying there, didn't get off his bike and
Well, see,
say,
that's
"Hey, are you okay?"
irresponsible on both levels.
Yeah. I mean, at
Yeah.
least
Wow.
attempt to. Yeah. Let's talk infotainment. The winner of the JD Power Infotainment System, Mitsubishi Outlander.
Good
Top
for
segment
them.
for the JD Power Multimedia Study, named the best multimedia system for a small, compact segment. Easy to use, easy to connect, and it's a 9-inch screen. Not at one time that was considered large, but that's about average now.
Yeah.
But it has wireless Apple CarPlay and wired Google Auto, and it wireless charging. They say it's easy to use. It's the My Pilot Assist 3 advanced navigation system. Lane that it features things like lane centering assistance, speed control, traffic jam, stop and go, smoother turning, and highway exiting. Gets great awards. So congratulations to Mitsubishi.
Good for them.
It's good for them that they've won that, right? And that's a good
I'm
value,
very
by the way,
happy.
that Outlander, I think. Don't you?
Yep. Good. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
that's good. They did it
Well,
right.
well, it's time for me to say I'm Fred Staub.
I'm Les Jackson.
We are going to see you down the road. We appreciate you visiting us here on Cruise Control.